So the translation software is quite handy for organizing the translation workflow. But I must say that there are also some disadvantages of them. Like, first of all, MateCat is an online resource, and we depend too much on the internet connection, on its quality. If the internet connection is not very good, then the um, process of translation is quite slow. And this is one thing. If the document is too big, then translators find it annoying and difficult to open the whole document and find the segment where they are working and so on. There are some complaints about that. I mean MateCat, because I haven't worked with other online resources. And another flaw is that sometimes documents are very okay, they're confidential, and they are of commercial secret or probably state secret, and it is not allowed to work online. So it is quite complicated in this way. But there are some other ways to organize the workflow and not to be afraid to lose time or lose your client's trust, because we are not able to do the work on time because of other people. And I usually ask translators to send me the parts of the translation from time to time, on to my email, or if it is allowed by the client, we work with a shared document on Google Disk or on another cloud source like Dropbox, where you can see how the work is going on. Then I upload the whole file there, and translators need just to replace the source text with their translations. In this way, I also can follow the whole process, and I can look through it and so on. The thing is that big projects mean high level of self-discipline, and being able to know how much time it takes you to translate one page conventionally, yes, or certain number of segments if we're working with in some translation tool, is highly important. Then you can calculate how much work you can do during one day, and divide the whole work in such a way that you don't have to work long hours in the end of the project, but you work regularly, and be sure that the whole work is done on time, and to require the same from other participants of this process. It is also very important when we have such a big project and new small projects come, there is a great temptation to get all of them and quickly translate between our main work. Let us call this big project main work, and then there is a risk that we don't have enough time to do our planned job during the day, and we also don't have enough time to do these small translations. So in this case, when we got big projects, it's much better to outsource small translations to somebody else, and just make sure that everything is done on time with high quality. For this reason, I work only with reliable translators uh, whose quality I know, and I'm certain that everything will be done in a proper way. Not only the quality of translation, but also performance in time, good formatting, and I will. My task will be just to make sure that everything is there and no parts are missing, and just send it to the client. So this is very important. Uh, Small translations can interrupt big projects and disturb and violate the whole workflow that we've organized so perfectly. Uh, One more important thing to talk about is payment. Uh, Payment and big projects is something quite important and quite complicated, especially with new clients, but also with old clients, because sometimes we think that if we have already worked with people, everything will be okay next time. It's not like that obligatory, It's sometimes it is not like that. I ask for 50% advanced payment for big projects. Usually people agree, especially if they are uh, I wanted to say, especially if they are foreign clients, but I must say that Ukrainian clients agree to 50% prepayment, uh, usually without problem. And when we have these 50% and other translators are involved, then we are on the safe side, because even if we are not paid in the end, we are able to pay translators from this advanced payment. Also, it is highly important to sign a contract which is prepared both by us and by the client. We need to read attentively what we sign, and it happens sometimes that the client wants our sample pro contract and they add some of their uh, clauses, but some of them, especially big clients like huge organizations with their own bureaucratic processes, they've got their own sample contracts, and our task is to make sure that they are they take into account our interests, because most of them don't. So the obligations of a translator are much higher than those of the client in these contracts, and the liabilities and rights are much shorter, and we need to make sure that certain moments are taken into account, and we can always ask to add some clauses to the contract to be um, certain that everything will be okay for us.